What up, friends? How are you all doing today? Welcome to the Thursday episode, the Eliminator episode to the Road to 150. I'm your host, Davis Pang, writer for Fantasy Six Pack, aka Pang's Picks, or Jumanji 202 if you see me in the best ball streets. And with me is Hope Bishop at Hope Bishop at Hope Bishop on Underdog. Did I
Hope
get it right?
B.
All three?
Yeah, I'm Hope Bishop on every social, but Hope B on Underdog. Yeah, I always go for the symmetry if I can get it. Lock down the thing. Appreciate it, GA. I thought it was funny. Made sense of that meme for this new contest style. I'm excited. So they released a $50 one, and it was gone in what 2 days, a day and a half. It was insane.
Oh,
I was surprised. Like people are fiending for that price range. I guess.
this prize is like really weird. But you know what's kind of cool though? And I don't think people have talked about this. It's actually a plus EV format, right? Because you got to think about it. You're technically you can do 20 entries. You can one team gets even remotely far, you get like 5x back, right? This is actually like a very strong structure. I know people are like obviously looking at number one, but if you get like three teams or four or five teams into a certain point, like you made a lot of money on this, right?
Yeah.
You could not make a good amount of money. And I think if you're like someone like Nez, shout out to the boy Nez, myself, you
Yeah.
that really like pound these numbers, wrap a ton of condoms on when we draft, know our bye weeks, get scared and like go for it. Like you could really crush in this, I think. I really think you can.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I did max the $50. I haven't done much of that. I usually take the fire method. Like if I'm gonna do 750, I'm gonna fire at 150 puppies. But you know what? I decided at least right before you get a little bit of fever. I think when it's the right before the season starts and it's a new mode, like a new format. And I was really excited for it. So I'm gonna be sweating those out. I actually had a partner in those, so it's gonna be a lot of fun to do that throughout the season and keep up with those teams. And I love that Underdog keeps pushing it with like ways to sweat your teams in season. So that part of it is really cool to me.
Smart business move, man. It's gamification, right? They're making
Yeah.
you game. They're making you check their app. And when I check my app to see my scores, maybe I'll throw to pick them. Like that's the game, and it's smart, man. It works. I
It
can't hate
is.
on it. So
So in your let's do some initial eliminator takes. At this point, it's been out for 3 or 4 days. I know a lot of people have heard, a lot of different strategy, and so we're not going to rehash everything. We'll get into actually drafting one here quickly. But what were your initial takeaways when you saw Eliminator? As far as strategy, like first things that came to mind.
I mean, bye weeks obviously is like the major plus. Like thinking
Right.
about bye weeks. Do I want my bye weeks in the same positions? I think that matters. Like I know double bye week in RB can be a death sentence. Double bye week in quarterback is a death sentence. Double bye week in tight end is basically a zero. Like you might just get a zero that week for all we
Right.
know. Uh, double bye week in position, I think is something that like people talk about bye weeks, but they're not talking about how double bye week in a position can be straight up a killer.
Yeah. I took it extreme. I think receiver was probably the only position I allowed doubled up bye weeks. I did a running back maybe on one or two. I ended up with a couple of buys the same, but um, yeah, it's super fun, and I like the idea of the smaller one, the $50 one. Like I kind of threw stacking out the window in that 6-person final. I just really wanted those projectable volume guys, or quarterbacks I knew I could rely on, especially if I missed out on an elite. And we kind of talked on this pre-show, but what were your thoughts with elite quarterback in Eliminator? Because I've seen a couple mixed things. I've seen people say, "I just take a couple mids and a late. Like you just need to get by. It's the most replaceable position." I've seen other people be like, "No, elite quarterback is so strong in this. You want to grab an elite." I've seen people doing double elite quarterback in this, which I don't necessarily think is the best. Maybe it is because you're almost guaranteeing yourself 25 a week. But kind of, what were your thoughts on quarterback in this?
Um, so yeah, before I move forward, shout out to Dooley. I was on the show with Dog Pound, and shout out to
Yeah.
Frank Evans for pointing that out. Yeah, like I was on the show with Pat. I talk about one portion of this on there, so like check out their channel, check that out. I'm sure you guys probably just came from it, but in case you missed it, you watch it, and then obviously finish us there first. But so shout out to those guys and thanks for having me on, especially last minute. It was 30 minutes we decided that was coming on. Like it was actually really random. But for elites to regular, shout out to my buddy Preston. He used to be a big best ball guy. Now he's in the golf world, golfing it up. FF engineer in on Twitter. He did these hit rate articles years ago. Probably one of the first ones. He did like BBM too, right? Um, and that article I think really resonates now. It's like how often do these guys hit? What's the hit rate? What is a hit rate? What's the replaceable numbers, right? If you need to know replacement numbers. And once you kind of know those, you can tell yourself a story of if I find a way to flatline 20 every week, I might be fine.
Yeah.
But for elites, we were talking about this a little earlier. It's like it's fine until it's not fine. I can
Right.
sit there and say like, yeah, I can get 18 to 20 points every single week. But the minute I get like 15 or 12 because an injury occurs and my two starting quarterbacks suck, maybe I'm running like Desmond Ritter, like Stroud and Kirk Cousins or something, right? Like there is a opportunity where Kirk just doesn't have a good week on a Monday Night Football, and then Desmond and like Stroud don't have a good week either, and you're at 13.
Yeah.
And then that's the same week that I either Jalen
Oh, we're kind of
Hurts,
losing you, Davis.
Justin Herbert's, Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, is Davis gone? I think Davis might be gone here. Let's see if we can get it. Oh, Davis, I hear you, but you're frozen. Oh no, you're back. You're back.
Sorry,
you're
my
back.
internet chipped out. Okay, my internet chipped out for a second. Well, sorry,
Go.
but sorry, just to double back on it really quick. But they're like when you get under 20 and you get a 15-point week, a 12-point week, and one of those elites go off, like you just lose.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think you just lose either in the 50% part where we start to lose half our rosters. So as much as I push for 3 quarterback and we can stream, I do think I'm afraid to stream without an elite sometimes. And I'm like at least looking at like Herbert Burrow.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest fear of the 15 teams that I did in the more expensive one is I didn't get any Allen, Hurts, or Burrow. I do have a couple Herbert teams. I had a Lamar team, a Deshaun if you think he's elite. And so I've got about half the teams with that kind of tier of quarterback, which I consider Lamar in that top for this year. But I did a few that were like, give me my Geno, my Daniel Jones, my Pickett. Like I did most of mine were kind of 2 from that middle range, and then a Howell, a Pickett, a later, which Pickett's going to be moving up and was a little bit in front of those guys. So that's kind of where I want to see, like, I guess we just don't know like what's going to be needed for that contest yet. But that's my biggest worry in my drafts. I didn't get enough of the elites.
I mean, your best bet, honestly, is just to look at old rosters and then look at how often your team went under, let's say, 100 points.
Yeah.
Right? Because usually 100 points is about the cutoff. 120 is about advancement numbers on average. So, like, if you can find a team of yours that did well and then had, like, how many times did they go under 100? I think those are all the team weeks you're vulnerable at in these, like, eliminators.
Another one of my strategies, I did one Andrews team, and then I pretty much just punted tight end in this format for the most part. I did one Andrews. I got a couple Freiermuth teams, but I went mostly punt tight end. And especially, like, I kind of think if you weren't doing Kelsey or Andrews, the two that you believe can really have this, or like I believe, and I think it's, consensus, could have this truly elite season, I was skipping the Kittles. I was skipping the Goddards, the Pitts. Like, I didn't want any of those guys in that format just because we know their variance compared to the top 2 tight ends. I mean, they're going to have some like 5-6 point games, just like the back end tight ends are going to have, and they're going to have several of them. And so if I wasn't taking Kelsey Andrews, I kind of skipped that middle tier elite tight end. Maybe Waller is one. I think I did one Waller team. Seems like he's probably a little bit more projectable now, or at least we feel like he is.
I skipped Kittle. I take a lot of Kittle in BBM. I took a lot less Kittle, and I don't think I took any Kittle in this. But I would take Goddard. Goddard's kind of like Higbee, like plus, right? Like he's a floor guy that has red zone upside and a contingent upside in case things go bad. Or just consider guys like Goddard fine. Goddard's definitely like a tier up over Pat F right now just because of consistency.
Yeah,
so sure. Like Goddard plus Higbee.
It's
plus,
also going like 30 picks in front of him too.
Yeah. So but like you can get like pick 80 something Goddard. Like I
you remember that BBM I sent you? I got him at 93.
Yeah,
Like,
you can get like very strong value Goddard where you can have 3 running backs, 4 receivers, and you get Goddard, and you're just like, oh, cool. And then I throw on a Higby and I throw in like Juwan Johnson, and I'm just like dancing in the end zone, right? Like it's gonna be good times. Um, I just don't want to be behind in a position. I think it's what think that like something that people are missing. It's like you can be behind in a position and you might lose. Like
yeah.
so, I don't want to be behind at any of them.
No, I don't either. And that's why I'm intrigued to watch one of Nez's teams actually. He tried I think he did like kind of a modified anchor, like 0 RB in this one just to test it out. And I'm interested to see how that team does in this format. But I think we should just go ahead and hop into one. We'll keep talking strategy as we draft. Do you want to try and get in the same one? Or do you want to draft it together?
Let's just get in the same one. Give me 1 second. I have to
All
start
right.
maxing this out eventually. All right, I am ready. Go.
All right, go. 2 people.
2 people.
Are you in?
Yes.
Nice. Oh, another thing we should speak on this one that's different than the $50. A 6-person final in the $50. And this one, it is 86 or 68. I don't remember which version of that. But week 17, I mean, I think it kind of factors in, and stacking especially. I think you're going to want to do in this format, whereas the other one, I don't think it was as necessary. With the 6-person final, but with this big of a final,
6-person final. You're like, I got all these stacks. I'm gonna crush you. This is
yeah,
DFS, baby.
yeah. Ned says he loves that team, and people did not like it. Yeah, the reaction wasn't great. I'm skeptical of it, Nez. I'll be honest, but that's why I'm excited to see how that team does. Um, we'll have to maybe pull it
Ness
up.
catches a lot of strays for like no reason. And this is like his.
I'm not
And
trying
this
to
one in
have
particular is like his
call and
contest.
blame him. I just think that I don't know. It's just not the way I chose to play it. And again, he could be way right, and I could be way wrong. So we'll see on that.
I do think an interesting build
What's
in
up,
this, and I think because it's so different, is probably like a 2-6-7-3 or a 2-7-7-2 if you upspend on the other positions. I probably wouldn't do it because I have to feel like there's no real ADP for this. There's no way to really plan around getting a 2-7-7-2. Me and Pat had a draft where like David Pierce went at 49. So like, who really knows?
Yeah. This is eliminators.
Mr. Dooley eliminators.
Yeah, I feel that Nez, like some of your teams you post, like you're willing to get different and willing to get unique, and I appreciate that. All right, we're taking Cooper Cup. He's gonna catch million balls. And I like it. And this one compared to the $50 as well. Week 10 is not nearly well, I mean, they're both 50%, I guess. Never mind. That would have been a dumb statement. I was about to say
My buddy Bichonimus. Oh God. I'm so happy for Bichon. I've been taking so much Bichon. It's gross.
But Nez, you do some teams that like they push the envelope, whether it's BBM or other formats. I know, like you're willing to try stuff, which I appreciate.
It's all right. At least it doesn't have 34% Jerry Judy, so like.
Oh yeah, sorry. Let's get into some of the news. Jerry Judy, you got the Broncos underdog shirt on.
I had today.
pour one out. My Bama boy, my guy. I had 15% of you though. 30%? 34% Jerry Judy in BBM. So or overall, I don't know, but
it's like 34 overall, like probably 30 across the board, I think. But like, it feels bad. It feels gross. I thought I was smart for a second there, where I was taking him in the third because I just really didn't like third, and then like Ramondre and then Brees all got their bad news, and I'm like, see, like this worked out. I took him, I take Terry, I took Drake London, and this is gonna pan out. And then like Terry gets hurt, and then Jerry Judy is hurt, and I'm like,
Keenan's the last one, but we know he's probably gonna get hurt.
Yeah, Keenan's gonna get hurt next, and then I'm probably gonna lose like DJ Moore too. So like maybe I wasn't that smart. Maybe I should have just taken Ramondre and Brees Hall and just sucked up the RB news. Like just take the low floor. I was already doing that anyway. So I was like, gosh, you.
No, that's fair. Oh yeah, and then we got to talk about our guys. Both of them tonight. Your guy Najee, my guy Jalen Warren, and Twitter's got Jalen Warren. Both scoring a touchdown the preseason. The thesis is playing off. Like everyone is tweeting out, and Nez pointed this out. Everyone's tweeting out the Jalen Warren 8-yard touchdown run. He ran over someone at the goal line. Not to mention when the first attempt the Steelers get at a 1-yard touchdown, and Warren was. I was watching. I've been grinding the preseason tape. I was watching. Warren was in the game before the Najee 1-yard touchdown, and they subbed him out and put Najee in for the TD.
It's just smart football. It has nothing to do with talent. It's just like put the fat guy that's gonna get a yard, right?
Yeah.
We hate it. Nobody liked what's his name. Who's the king of vultures?
LeGarrette Blunt.
No, the fullback from the Tolbert. No one liked Tolbert.
Yeah.
But Tolbert would get up in there, and all this Jonathan Stewart managers would start crying. We would all cry. But it's smart football. I took him to this Super Bowl. Like
Najee also got a screen pass called for him, which he took for 15 yards. It was funny. I think I texted you. I was like, the Steelers had 2 drives with the first team offense, and both running backs had like 8 or 9 fantasy points each. Like, I think that, I think we both might get there at the end of the day.
It's going to be Giovanni Bernard and like Jeremy Hill season, or Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara, where 2 guys just get there and one guy's just way better value.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. Like, if they end up scoring similar points, obviously you would have rather had Warren, but that doesn't mean all your Najee teams are dead. Especially if the Steelers, and I know, look, I get it. The Steelers playing backup defense tonight. They were against the Bucs in the first preseason game. But you know what? At least, and you pointed it out, at least they don't look awful. At least they're doing what they should do and take it right up and down the field. And these still against NFL players. The passes from Pickett look awesome. So I'm excited.
I mean, the other side of this too is like people forget, like they don't like Najee, but they don't like Najee last year of round 1, round 2. If you got round 1, like last year, if you had Najee's numbers and you got him at round 4 or 5, you probably wouldn't be as pissed. You'd be like, oh, I got 230 total points in like round 4 or 5. That was like the whole thesis for most Najee guys. It's like, hey, we're getting a touch count guy in round 4. Like, that's not bad. Not necessarily good, but it's not bad.
No.
You're just banking on consistency.
The problem this year with Najee still is you really need the touchdowns to be there if this is going to truly be as big of a split as it feels like it's going to be. Because I will say, like, Warren is coming down in on most obvious passing situations. But it's preseason. It's been like 5 drives with the first team offense. It's early. We'll have a bigger sample after 1 game in 10 days. So
Garage has a good point. It could be Ryan Matthews.
Ryan Matthews, wasn't he a Charger at some point?
He was a Charger, but then he went to the Eagles, and then he kept spelling for DeMarco Murray. And they just had this alternate back and forth. To be fair, Ryan Matthews actually was a better value that year. But like I said, I think people are just like so engraved of like, it has to be this guy and that's it. But like, there's a lot of scenarios where it's just like, it's both guys and you got a good value on the other one.
Terry, I'm just getting you back for the Sam Howell pick on Tuesday night. No, you know what? I'm in on Calvin Ridley. I was going to take Olave, but you know what? I don't know how many of these I'm going to do. I want my guys in this format. Yeah, the Kelsey team is playing for week 17. Kelsey Mahomes team. I mean, it's 186. Is that what it is? I mean, it's not the worst. I'm not like focusing on it. I definitely want to try and stack if I can.
I mean, he got T at 31. It wasn't even like a bad pick. I was 1 pick away. I was like staring at him.
So you talked a lot about Keenan Allen when this contest first dropped. Makes a ton of sense. Projectable volume. The guy, like, when healthy, he's getting 10 targets a game. Like, great pick for this format.
Yeah, and he gets red zone. Like, he gets red zone targets. He's not a guy it's not like Eckler is automatically a touchdown guy. There is no touchdown guy for the Chargers that isn't Keenan Allen.
I mean, it's been Eckler the last couple of years, but hoping this year they push it more.
Yeah. Everybody's hurt. But when they've all been together, it's a toss-up. It can be any of the guys. Mike Williams is like red zone targets are like very much low too. Yeah. So it's people always go, it's the guy that's going to be open, which is like Keenan Allen most of the time. Justin Herbert is like very smart when it comes to that kind of play. Gotta hope this person comes back. Let's see.
So I did go Josh Allen in this one. Gonna try and do some of the more elite quarterbacks in this in the cheaper one since I did not in the first one. But I really love this. I love this format. I have not taken a running back yet, which I don't love, but you can grab one.
You have a shot at a few.
Yeah.
You have a shot at Najee, Brees, not Mixon because he's gone already. But you have a shot at Najee,
Man, I don't
Brees.
know if I want Brees at this price in this one.
Yeah.
I might
I
just have to like pass and then just like take 5 straight running backs.
I would rather take Brees and not than pass on him because like you want to get some kind of floor level. I can't think of a scenario where like Brees does at least get 12 touches or 15 touches a game.
That's fair. I was thinking pass there, then take Ken Walker. These guys probably won't get back. Like Ken Walker, Pierce.
Yeah, my point is like, they might not come back, and then
take
you just
like
stranded.
4 from Walker down to Connor Swift. Like take 4 of those guys.
You're in a draft with me. You think you're getting Connor back? What is this? What are you thinking over here?
Take him before you.
Oh, I was trying to take Debo, man. That was the guy I was hoping to get. I was trying to get Debo on this. I guess I'll just take the next guy. Whatever.
Drake London. I like Drake London a lot in this.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be the target guy in Atlanta.
I mean, he has to be.
Brees feels like a gross pick in this, though. Jeez, man.
I'm going to have 2 Falcons, which is going to be weird.
Let's see. Hopkins, McLaurin should get volume.
This is such a gross
fuck it. I'm just taking Brees. It's probably bad in this format, honestly. I think it is, but it's $6. We'll go for it. We're going for the high upside team. We got Kupp. We got Josh Allen. Like, we've got some heavy projectable volume that hopefully by the time this team really needs Brees, we've made it several rounds.
I mean, you could have probably grabbed Hopkins and then try to see if one of those guys came back. I just don't know. I feel like if I got stuck with like Aaron Jones, I would feel gross. I would have just felt so gross.
Yeah, I mean, look, I just much prefer Brees as a player to Aaron Jones. So let's just hope that he just wins out talent over Cook. But I am pretty worried about that situation with Rodgers, just like his influence.
Yeah. I know this guy's good. I used to play against him twice a year.
Dude, he had some battles in the NFC North. And he's not washed, but Herbert goes. So what did you did? Bijan Pollard. No, that's not you. Yeah, Bijan Pollard. I love the start. Loading up on Atlanta.
I didn't get any praise for getting the Pollard. I thought you were going to praise me for that. You always.
Great pick, Davis. I mean, you picked probably like a guy who could be the RB1 overall this year.
Thank you. That's all I ask.
Congrats. Dotson. God, the Dotson team. I love him. I love Dotson a lot.
He was one of my guys last year. I just took so much of, and I got so much crap for it. And I was just like, but he's a first-round pick, and like Carson Wentz will sling it, right? And it kind of worked until Wentz went down, and then he went down too. But he was like really good.
Oh, I mean, especially if Terry misses. Well, if he only misses week 1, it's not that big of a deal. But if he misses 3 or 4 weeks, like, it could be huge for Dawson.
I am not taking any Ayuk in this. I will tell you this right now. I am not taking any Ayuk.
I think you got a couple good options. Yeah, I was gonna say Kirk or Deontay. Yeah. I took so much Deontay in the first Eliminator. I like our start so far. Kupp Ridley feels so good.
You know, it's a fun week 1 to stack. Like, so you just know for sure you advance. Like
what?
Chargers, like Dolphins.
Chargers, Dolphins. Yeah.
Like I took one. I was like, making it to week 2. Like I got this. Making it to week 2 today. This is cool. Like it was like a Keenan Allen, Tyreek Hill. It was Tyreek, Keenan Allen, and like Justin Herbert. And I was just, and then it was Tua. Tua went 20 picks, and then I was just like, got there. Like we're gonna get to week 2, baby. Like this is it.
This is a micro take, but do you at all like my first 5 picks, all different bye weeks? Like, do you think something that granular matters as far as like knowing you're gonna like if this team hits, you're gonna have 4 out of 5 studs that you drafted first playing on the other's bye week? It probably doesn't matter that much. I don't know. It's something
I think bye weeks matter. Like it's just so freaking much. It's scary. Like I said, like if you like ever look at someone's roster or all your rosters and look when they did bad, And people think they're stacking a lot of bye weeks negatively and BBM and stuff. Like, not really. Like most of your weeks are probably one-offs, but like people just have bad weeks and there's just bad combinations, right? If you have a bad combination, it just happens to be terrible. Think about like week 17 last year with like the Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins, and like Derrick Henrys and stuff. Like any other week, it'd have been like hell yeah, and then
Right.
week 17 you put up like 64 points. There was another situation like that. It was like week 15 where like Mark Andrews, Josh Jacobs, and like all the stuff, Stephon Diggs, all those guys just happened to just suck that week, and you just lost, even though they were like 7 studs or 8 studs. So it's very very plausible that you
Yeah.
just eat it. Like, so I do think bye weeks matter because you want less risk of eating it on any given week.
I think it makes total sense.
Yeah, sorry, I was like very long winded, but like it really does scare the crap out of me thinking about, there's a scenario where I do think matters more for like studs versus low level guys. Like if my final 2 picks are 2 week 11 guys, I'm not worried about it. But if I have like a week 7 and running back, wide receiver, and like that alone, and it's like let's say it's a little top heavy, yeah, I'd be scared. Wide receivers have like a 50% miss rate. And if you have in your 0 RB or RB hero, then you're relying on the other 4 guys to like hopefully get it together. And what if you were like 4 guys just don't? Like what if you have
Right.
James Cook, Tank, Dante Foreman, and like Wilson, and it's just not their week?
No, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
So I did break the tiebreaker here into Gabe for my Allen stack. Obviously, I don't think he's the best pick in this format, but with a 186 person final, I think you do want a little correlation if you get there in week 17 trying to win, trying to get first. So, and I didn't really love it. I mean, JSN, don't love that. We're gonna miss 4 weeks. Mike Evans in Tampa, Marquise Brown maybe for projectable volume probably would have been the ideal pick there. But I do want to consider stacking more with that big of a final. So that's why I went Gabe. Even though he's
Yeah.
not ideal for this format.
Yeah, it's probably not ideal, but it's a two-way, it's a double-edged sword, right?
I
He's
mean, I got
not
Cup Ridley.
consistent, but he's spiky. Maybe the week that your team does bad, he does good, and he carries you just enough so you don't get eliminated. Like this is like tinfoil hat tournaments. Like this is as tinfoil as it can get.
Yeah. And most of our guys we take are going to be like, I don't know, have higher floors. Or
My
at least
team
what you can.
exactly is this. Like it's like 4 guys that I catch all.
Yeah,
Like
and Godwin is someone I was looking at too. But it's just like when it's just Marquise Brown, who, I mean, obviously, according to Twitter, can't get open in practice. That clip was so funny. People are overreacting like crazy to it.
I mean, to be fair, like it's funny.
Oh yeah, it's funny. I mean, he got owned on the route. I mean, there's no debating
Like
that.
he got owned on the route, he got stuck on, and then to top it off, he's Marquise Brown. He can't muscle the guy down. It's not like he's not gonna be able to like fight for power for things. I mean, Tyreek Hill has proven that he can be like a contested catch guy, but like Marquise Brown has not proven that. He has a couple of catches though. Like I remember last year he looked really good. But that's just tough.
And I will say, I watched the 3 drives the Colts had tonight. Anthony Richardson was locking on to Michael Pittman a good bit, but I don't know. I
Tall
don't.
guy.
I don't love him in this format. I'm not gonna take Connor from you, but I'm trying to decide between Pittman. I'm trying to decide between Pittman. I kind of want him because Gabe is my wide receiver 3 in this. Feels gross, but also I love David Montgomery in this,
I mean, he might come
and
back.
with Brees. No, I'm just gonna do Pittman actually.
I mean, I wouldn't be against Marquise Brown at this late either. Like he's
Oh,
probably
is he there? Did I
a
miss him?
6 or 60 kind of guy, and this kind and that works.
Yeah, I should have took Marquise. I think I was scrolled up, or maybe
I
I
think
was just
Pittman's also
blind.
fine too. I'm not tripping about Pittman either.
Yeah, I think
What
he
is
makes
this?
sense.
What is this? What the hell is this? Who took my Connor? You son of a bee. I quit. I'm logging off, man. I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, Julie, I'm with you. Like he was getting the RPOs, and I saw a tweet that said like, oh, in this RPO heavy system, that tends to draw up more plays like to the number 1 target. So that's what we're going with on this team. But yeah, he doesn't feel like him and Gabe back to back in this format. I would say are not the ideal clicks you want to make, or Brees Hall, but we did it.
Yeah, RPOs are fast. It's just literally one read option. So it
Yeah,
pretty
I
like
mean that's one.
lives in like line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe he just catches a bunch of like 4 or 5 yard passes, and he's fine for this. Even if he doesn't have the big spike weeks you want in regular best ball, could be better in this format. Maybe it's just the pass volume overall for the Colts is what you worry about.
Oh, I was hoping Brandon Cooks would come back. I shouldn't have expected that. I was actually thinking about taking Cooks there because he's another guy I think that would have been fun to have, and he didn't affect my bye weeks.
Makes sense. Yeah, I looked at Cooks as well. I'm coming around on him.
He's good. He's a good player. Like I don't know what
He's
there is to say to besides like he's a good player. That's all I can ever say. And I like feel so bad for like passing on him a ton, because I know he's good, and I'm like have full faith that he's just gonna be good the entire time. Um, if I get Kyle Pitts on the comeback, then I'll have all three of the Falcons. I'm
That's what
kidding.
you want. Loading up with the Falcons in
It's
this.
Ritter season, baby. It's Ritter season.
You better take Ritter like the 13th, lock him down.
Gotta make sure that no one snipes him. Gotta make sure.
Elijah goes. So, how does it feel not having any BBMs to draft? Like, you just like bored? You just open the Underdog app, like, which I mean, obviously now you got the Eliminators if you want to draft some of those, but you just kind of open it every now and then, just see what it's like. Remember what it's like now that you're done with your 150th.
I mean, for the last, so I was in class today when I got the Judy news, and then I used the school computer to look for Judy news. I'm like, what is it? What is it? I spent like 2 hours of my class time trying to find out what happened to Judy. Like, is it gonna get better? Like, what's going on? And I'm like panicking, like mega panicking. um, so I would say that's what I'm spending my time on. It's just like on Twitter, like praying that nothing bad happens to my guys.
Making sure your players make it to the regular season.
Like retirement for Corey Davis. I mean, I didn't really have a ton of them. I just want him to have a good year. Like I just was like, hey, so I could be vindicated for taking him other years. But like, it's just like, can something happen? I mean, you did send me the Michael Thomas news today, which was really cool. I was like, oh, that's good. And UD has it on here too. It's like, yeah, well, at least my Michael Thomas shares are like paying off now. Um, but like, man, I am losing a ton of guys. It really stings. And it can only get worse technically, right? Because everyone's losing so many players. It can literally only get worse.
All right, I'm at Khalil Herbert here. Needed some more projectable volume at running back. I like him. What'd you think of the? We get some more news. Seems like Roshan. Again, it's all reports. Maybe running as the 2 over Foreman. In Chicago.
Pause for a second. Is this what it's like to draft against me, Brown Oops?
Oh,
is that what it's like? Is that what it is?
Connor MT. I mean, are we?
Is this what it feels like to draft against me? And I'm like this.
Should we play the clip for it? Oh, he took Ayuk.
Yes, he took
Tyreek,
Derrick Henry, but he took the other guys I'm not really into, like Jameer and like Ayuk. But like, he took James Conner. So I was like, yeah, Brown Oops takes another old.
Yeah, just narrate it for him. But yeah, Roshan. So we didn't. What were your thoughts? I know you kind of had some Foreman. I've pretty much I'm dead in BBM is what I'm always referencing when I talk about my exposures, but dead split on the 3 running backs. What'd you think?
I mean, I think I don't think he's gonna get cut. I think that Flake pushed something out. But I do worry that Roshan becomes the 2 by end of season. I don't think it's gonna be as quick as people think. Like you still have to learn a playbook. You still want to bring a guy on correctly. Like people would say that doesn't happen for running back, but that it does. We don't really pay attention to it as much. And like, why not like just get Foreman getting beat up a little bit? There's no harm in that. It's not going to cost you that. It's not going to cost you games unless you do it incorrectly. So I think that Roshan's got to be the guy you want at the end of the season. And that's basically it. Because I mean, I was saying this on the Pound show. It's like the Bears just went through a series of last year where all three running backs got hurt.
Yeah.
Like Ebner got hurt, Herbert got hurt, and Montgomery got hurt. You think they're gonna go back to like the
But it's the running back position, right? Like, I mean, they're gonna get hurt. All three of these guys.
Specifically, their franchise has already experienced this. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Oh
we're
man, all the running backs got taken. Holy crap!
They did. We're slightly losing you again, but we can still hear you.
Oh, okay, so
you're good back.
Scared to death of my lack of RBs.
Yeah, all your guys went here.
This is why I go heavy. All right, let me get some Sharby.
I think that pick makes a lot of sense in here. A guy that should be on the field getting work.
Oh, actually, I probably not should have grabbed Charbonnet there.
Who do you think you should have grabbed, or do you not want to get sniped?
So you went a quarterback, but I was actually thinking I could have just scrolled down for Tank.
Yeah.
And then if I'm lucky, I could probably grab Warren on the way back. Because I think you can project the volume for those two right now. I don't know Charbonnet's role. I think he's better than those two.
I think he's going to play.
Yeah, and that's very likely. I mean, I just talked about, the Bears experiencing RB issues, and Seattle particularly has always experienced RB issues.
Yeah.
So they probably have like a bet of, let's not put ourselves in this weird situation again where I have to use Travis Homer against the 49ers. They don't want to do that. So, but I do like Warren's projected role a lot. Like, it just seems very easy to bank that he's going to do something.
Yeah, I think so. Man, what was the latest on Treylon? Missed a few weeks. So I'm wondering, I don't think I can afford to take guys like him when I have Gabe Davis and Michael Pittman. I need to get some more projected touches.
I also don't want to eat it at quarterback. If I don't take a QB here, I basically lose.
I don't know. I feel like you could take a couple quarterbacks in this range for your next couple picks, probably.
I think two of them will be gone for sure. The three that come back, I can get one, maybe two, but one of them is basically done. Like, Russ is going to be hurting for a little while. Yeah, I would have to go. Yeah, I'm just going to take the replaceable points. I got to play that a little bit. Treylon Burks at 97 is kind of funny though.
He's going to be here at 116.
Yeah.
113 for you. That's what I was saying. I was mentioning him as in this format, if he misses 3 or 4 weeks, I don't know if I can take him as my fourth receiver.
I'd be willing to take him. I feel because I don't think of it as he misses, I get a 0. He misses, and I probably lose 3 points at flex.
Yeah.
That's the way I view it. It's never I got a 0 that day. You got a 0 in a position, that means your whole team failed. Right? You get a 0 at your flex. That means your 6 other wide receivers suck, and your 3 of your other 5, your 3 of your running backs suck that week too, and so did your 2 other tight ends.
No, Burks goes anyway. You know what? I might just
take Derek Carr at 116. I was not expecting that.
I think I'm just gonna take one more running back and be done. Get one of these week 9 bye guys, either Pirine or Tank. I don't know which one I want. I feel really good about both having a role. I think I feel a little bit better about Pirine, but I like Tank's upside better.
Man, I don't know. I like Tank just because talent is high right now.
I just think I'm slightly more skeptical on Javonte than I think. I don't know, the way it's being talked about right now. I mean, his injury was super serious, and I know he played, and he's going to be out there, but I don't know. I went back to some of the stuff that Peyton said when they brought in Pirine, and why Pirine was so excited to sign there, talking about how they've always used multiple backs. I just think Pirine is going to play a ton, regardless of how Javonte's looking.
That is literally Sean Payton's way. He's always had 2 backs. Never any less, never any more. Always 2 guys. Back as far as Mark Ingram days. Mark Ingram and Sproles. Mark Ingram and Kamara. Mark Ingram and whoever he can find off the street. was Danny Wood? No, Danny Woodhead was somewhere else. He went to the Ravens. But like, there's always like two guys, so I think that's a fair call. Coaching history is a real thing.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's how I predicted like Ron Rivera last year. It was basically spot on.
All right, I've got to find some receivers I think they're going to play. Because I'm severely behind and have Gabe and Pittman. But I think I'm done at running back, though, so that's good at least. Boyd, OBJ. You know who I'm taking. Your boy.
Why you gotta do that?
Mr. For usable weeks.
He's like so perfect for this too. He's so absolutely gross.
And the Corey Davis stuff, like he's just got he's great for this format.
Oh, we had a Twitch comment. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, we are also simulcasting this on Twitch, as well as YouTube, but YouTube's the main hub, but throwing that on as well. All right, who are you thinking here? Let's pull up your roster.
It's just got to be quarterback. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It doesn't even have to even be correlated. Just gonna grab it. Once it loads. There we go. Jared Goff it is.
Oh, yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I could have done Kincaid there as well for my first tight end, but again, don't love him for this format. But I do want to stack in this. Let's see. I like that. So, how many of these do you think you're going to do? You think you're going to max it?
I'm probably going to max it. I'm going to at least shoot for 10. This is like a very much affordable drafting thing. Numbers guys like us generally tend to like want to have a payoff. This is actually like a shot at a payoff. I think even the payout is not terrible either.
No, I mean it's extremely top heavy, but I think like just getting your like profiting could be easier in this than if you just like don't mess up.
Yeah. I mean, if you just get to like the $30 mark, right? Like it's not like bad. You get to the 30 mark like at least a couple of times and then one higher place finish. Yeah. You just get a good chunk of it back. If you got knocked out earlier than that, then that's just you were lost anyways, right? Like you just lose. Yeah, Jordan Love 126.
QBs get pushed up a lot in these, I've noticed. People just really don't want to lose out on those quarterback points and get stuck, I think. Especially if they don't have an elite. Like, they go so much higher, I've noticed, in this format.
I mean, DR is a real thing, too. Like, you know, we're always playing for upside in the other formats. You don't need to play for as much upside. You don't have to grab the Van Jeffs. They gave, you know, like the Rashid Shaheeds and MVSs for this.
Yeah.
So it's 126, but this is a mixed ADP. Like, realistically, these guys should be a lot higher than MVS.
Yeah, QB's, yeah, Julie's saying this right. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. If this is going to start affecting the BBM ADP, I think it is mixed in with the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, reaching in this, you just have to. I got boxed out in one of my early ones because I wasn't prepared in the 50. So tell me what you would have done. I had Golf Carr as my only two quarterbacks, and I got to the end of the draft, and I was hovering Jimmy G. He was the only starting quarterback left. I was like, you know what? I'm just taking him. He goes, and the only other options are literally backups. Kyle Trask was like the option. It's like, is he gonna like play some instead of Baker? And I actually took him. I don't know. Would you have just like said, screw it, we're riding Golf Carr, we're just gonna get the weeks we need? Or would you do what I did and panic clicked Kyle Trask or any back?
I would have just skipped it.
Yeah, I looking back, I 100% should have just skipped it. But
like you'd be better off taking
I wasn't even looking at any other picks. I was like just hovering Jimmy as my third quarterback. So like, I'll just get Jimmy and get out of here with 3 like starters. And he went, and yeah, it was bad.
Because like Trask is like such an unknown, and he hasn't obviously shown that he's good. I think I would have got like Jacoby. And you're
Yeah,
like,
him or
my
Jacoby, I was
narrative of
like,
Sam Howell, those
yeah,
hurt.
I don't know. I'm just like also in on Howell. I wasn't even thinking about him versus like I'm not in on Baker at all. It's like if any of these guys are gonna play, I'm just gonna bet Trask gets in there eventually. And so we'll see. It was a bad team anyway. That one's probably a donation, but who knows? Maybe Golf and Carr will just perfectly ping pong weeks for me the whole season.
I mean, there's a very good chance they just do 18 points across the board minimally, right? And you're fine overall.
Yeah.
You just lose normally.
I'm already
But
thinking I'm gonna have to just looking at some of the names of these quarterbacks that have gone. I might just go ahead and grab Stafford with my cup or Howell right here. If not, I'm gonna miss out. I'll just get one of these guys. So I'm not taking Kyler in this. Howell. All right.
dang,
Yeah.
Sam
I'll
Howell
just,
already went. Sheesh.
I think that's Terry. That's his guy. Yeah, and the quarterback's going
Stafford.
crazy. I at least need a second one with my Allen.
Well, all the quarterbacks are gone. I'm kind of glad I grabbed Pickett when I did because I got
I
really bad
mean,
real
they're
fast.
just flying off the board, which it makes sense. You can't lose too much at quarterback, like Dooley was saying. Yeah, Terry, I was waiting. I was waiting for your comment. Yeah,
God damn it.
maybe I was playing mind games with you, Terry, and cued Hal, so you would give me him and not reach on Stafford, thinking you'd get Hal on the wrap.
I would have grabbed him my way back. I would definitely have grabbed him.
Who, Hal or Stafford?
Yeah, Howell or Stafford, either of the two.
Oh.
I was taking a quarterback on the comeback because I think I had a shot at him either way.
But I really lucked out too to get Stafford with stacked up with the cup. Trying to see if I have any other quarterback options. I almost was going to say Jimmy, but with him and Josh Allen having the week 13 buys, I don't think that makes much sense. Not a Stafford, yeah. I feel you. I'm in on Stafford just because I'm in on Cup, and I know he doesn't like have to have a great season for Cup to have an elite season. But I definitely think it helps, and like the correlation there. If this team goes off and Cup's great, odds are Stafford's having a good year, and so I really like to get that stack when I get Cup, and it's easy to get Stafford as well.
Oh, this part of the draft is so ugly.
It is, especially in this. Because we like a lot of these guys in regular best ball for the spike weeks. Your MVS, your Mingo, Pierce, Hyatt. But in this format,
Mingo is probably more flatter than we think. I like Pierce too. I think Alec Pierce is a lot more flatter than we're given that. Because like when I project him based on what we've seen on preseason, based on camp, based on just his positioning, he's like what 80 to 100 targets, give or take. They don't have to be great targets, but he's like has better floor than like Shaheed, who's probably like 40 targets or 50 targets, right? Or MVS, who's probably like 70 targets and he catches 6 of them. But like I think Pierce has like a very strong up. I think Mingo's in that same boat too.
Yeah. We'll see here. Yeah, oh man, I do kind of wish this contest had its on ADP where we could see the differences and like not get us boxed out on some of these positions we want.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100% agree with you.
You know what? I think I like the way I followed up my Gabe Pittman with Lazard, Jacoby. Getting more of the projectable volume guys with the guys who probably have less.
I'm really debating Juwan here, but I'm not going to take him.
You do already have 2 tight ends.
Well, it's not just that. It's the bye week portion, right? Juwan's one of the last few tight ends that fits my bye weeks. Because most of the tight ends that come in after are going to be week 10s and 7s. So
Fair.
But I wanted to really like boosting my wide receivers just a little bit to see what we get at.
Jeez, John was going to take Juwan. I guess we're going Ferguson. I don't need to get completely boxed out at tight end either. I probably should not have pushed the P. Ryan pick and looked at something else there. Where then maybe where I took Jacoby, I could have taken a tight ender. I don't know. We'll see. I'll hit it. Started a run on tight ends. I think late too, you can take some of the like, especially early if you're hammering the projectable volume guys. I think it actually makes some sense to take your Hyatts, your MVSs, because like you really need someone to outscore them. I don't know.
Yeah. Some spikeage is nice, but I don't know if I want
Like you just need a mix.
Like, what if Hyatt just doesn't do much for like 9 weeks? Then
That's
right?
fair. But I also like, what are you getting in the 15th, 18th round? Like, I don't know. I feel like you should be pretty loaded up on projectable volume guys. And like you've skipped out on the early guys who are more spiky, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I said, yeah, it's fair. And then at the end of the day, it's like, I said earlier, it's like, what are you really losing? Probably just like a point or two, or if any, right? Probably none, considering that these guys are basically not usable anyways for the most part.
Yeah.
Because these floor guys can get really bad. Like, I think people forget like how bad some of these floor level guys can really be when they're getting like 4 receptions for like 42 yards or 4 receptions for 25 yards. It's like, oh, he has 4 receptions every game. Like, some guys are literally the bottom as they can possibly be. So I would at least try to. That's why I think like Mingo is a lot better than I think people give him credit for.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Dude.
Oh, I was eyeing Curtis Samuel.
I don't think I'd take Curtis Samuel in this.
I actually think I would.
I think, I mean, you take him for Terry being out, but I think that's like
He's
a rental.
Gonna play like almost every offensive snap, though. I think he is.
Sure.
No, I'm taking.
I just think he has heavy competition right now. Like, he's got competition from his running backs. He's got competition for the other 2 receivers. Maybe a tight end if they ever figure out who that is.
Yeah. I went Hunter Henry. I almost clicked Knox.
Dang it! That was my tight end I was gonna pick up.
I went Hunter Henry though, because like some of the stuff you were talking about with Knox, like in this format with the way it's split, his between him and Kincaid is not actually the best. Now, if I can get him in the next round or so, I will. But I feel better, and I know Hunter Henry has Gesicki there, but Gesicki's kind of banged up, and the drumbeat's been pretty strong. For Hunter Henry is like Mac's go-to guy right now in camp, so I'm pretty in on Hunter Henry this year.
I don't want to take the double bye week, but I want a consistent tight end. I was going to take Henry there because he just did not mix with my bye weeks, and that was gone.
So see, I wanted to take Conklin, but him and Ferguson did 2 week 7s.
Yeah, he shares one of mine, but luckily it's not my better tight end. It's Goddard.
He took an elite.
By Goddard.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I just have to hope that Goddard puts up something.
These are fun, but these are stressful because I'm like, I only want like I know the 3 or 4 guys I want to take the rest of this draft. Like, I'm not just like open to what falls to me because you want the team to make sense. You want the bye weeks to make sense. And so I don't know. It feels a little more stressful drafting it because there are like only certain players you really want to take in these last few rounds, or at least it does to me. I don't know if you think that.
No, don't disagree with you. Like, I already know where we have to aim for because we already know what's on the board.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, like, we obviously know like some people are just not going to take Mingo.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's that late, but there we go. Finally, someone did take him.
Someone did.
It seemed like excessive
because there's like Sharks banged up, right?
Yeah, Sharks banged up. Adam Thielen's 52.
They took him at like pick 35. Like, they're in on him. Looking back, I think maybe I don't know. With the Brees thing, just scared me. Like, I wanted more projectable volume at running back. I'm thinking now I might have skipped P. Ryan and done a few things a little differently, but I don't think it's the worst.
Are there any rooms that you're taking the full backfield? Dolphins,
So let's talk
Commanders.
about that. I've seen some people talking about taking like handcuffing in this. I think like initially I think like, oh, that doesn't sound great because you want to have as many options available to score points each week. And they're going to share a bye week as well. But
Mhm.
it makes sense if it's a backfield you're confident in is going to have a usable player every week, like the Commanders. I think it makes a ton of sense, but I have not done it as much. What's the kind of the thesis on it for you?
I haven't done it in this yet because I just haven't drafted. But I cannot sit there. So I would do Commanders. I would do Dolphins. I would do.
Not worried about Jonathan Taylor.
No. Jonathan Taylor goes there. He goes there.
Yeah, at
I'd
this
maybe
point.
even consider it for the Rams if I got that desperate. And I know people are gonna say like, but like Akers is like pick 80 and like Kyron's like 200, right? Or 70 something and 200. Like it's very feasible. Or Singletary and Pierce maybe. Because you're saying that this team's gonna run and one guy will get me 10. At some point in time, one of these two guys is getting me 10. That's just the bet, right? Doesn't mean it actually happens. Because I think that sounds better to me than I took Deontay Foreman by himself and I took Chuba Hubbard by himself. Like I don't like does that feel good? Like the answer is
Right.
probably not. Or I took I mean even let's go like this like Khalil Herbert or I take Javante. I took Javante and I took another guy I just really didn't like. It just doesn't always feel as good if I don't believe that they're really going to run the ball. I think you have to just know what you're doing on that regard. So in those situations, I would probably consider doing that. I would probably take like I just believe the Commanders are going to run. Or
Yeah.
I know some people are saying make Bijan Tyler. I think if you're taking Bijan, you have to believe he's just going to do stuff. But the
Yeah,
argument can stay that you believe that the Falcons just run.
I mean, it's similar to like regular basketball where it's like you're talking about capital spent at the position versus.
Yeah.
All right.
But like I would consider like maybe even Brees and Cook if Cook was in the hundreds, or like early hundred. I maybe even consider that. Because, but like I think there's like a idea of where that works because there's a lot of dead players that we don't know are already dead. And Brown Noobs has 4 quarterback. Cool, cool. Would have been nice. I could have used one.
I'm over here looking up in week 13 schedule to see who of Mac, Stroud, and Ritter has the easiest opponent.
That's
I
what
am just,
Taz
I
talking
am
about. We were
just
talking about
think,
this a couple weeks ago too.
I am just taking Mac though because I have Henry and they play the Chargers versus Ritter gets the Jets defense and Stroud gets the Broncos. So we're doing that as our three. I think backing up Josh Allen in this format with Stafford Mac kind of makes sense. Like as far as you really need a big season from Josh, like you're gonna be playing him, but then you've also got two guys behind him that are yeah, I mean, versus the Chargers isn't great either for Mac, but I don't know. I broke the tie for stacking with Hunter Henry as well.
Oh, shoot. Jawan Jennings. He's going to stack 2 of the 49. All right, cool.
Yeah, Dooley's saying those are all rough defenses.
I am going to gamble. All right, I'm going
Slayton.
to take Darius. I'm going to gamble for my last pick. Like, I was considering somebody, but we'll see.
I can't believe you didn't. I don't want to like get you sniped, so I don't know unless you're done at a certain position.
I can't grab a 4th quarterback. Okay, I can't grab Kyle
You're not.
Trask. Too good.
Oh, I mean, I was thinking Ritter with all your Atlanta.
I already have 3. I'm like,
I know, but
it's
why
fine.
would you like Tannehill over Ritter in this when you have two pieces from Atlanta?
I have Chig. Okay,
Okay, sorry.
I actually kind of
Man, you took
spaced out
London
on
and
Ritter.
Bijan. That's
I spaced out on Ritter actually,
that's
but I
fair. It happens to the best of us.
wasn't considering them. I was just more like, where are all these quarterbacks going? And I need to grab one of these guys. Um, Plus, I'm a Dolphin man. I'm a Dolphin fan. I love Tannehill. He's always gonna be like my second favorite, Dolphin quarterback of all time. It's gonna be Ryan Tannehill. Praise be, man, Ryan Tannehill. Praise be.
Let's see. Who do I want with
I
this
guess I
one?
could have taken 4 quarterbacks and gone 4, 5, 6, 3. My receivers are pretty strong.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you needed a 7th. Yeah, what is your build? Oh, yeah. You thinking a 5th RB here?
Yeah, I could get a 5th. But does he even do anything?
I mean, you do have 2 part-time players in Charbonnet and Warren.
Yeah, I got 2 part-time guys. I got 2 full-time. But they're not like junk part-time. So not like, you know, Rashad White to Leonard Fournette last year where he really didn't do anything. I feel like these 2 guys are going to be cemented in their roles. I could grab a 4 quarterback. Oh, never mind. He's gone. I was like, oh, I could grab Ritter, but nope, he's gone. Because I think Ritter would have provided more upside than some random running back I'm taking right now.
Yeah. That makes sense.
At least projectable wise. No, not Chase Edmonds. Damn. My buddy Kyron. Here we go.
That's a good pick. That's a really good pick.
Yeah,
I've been
actually
picking him
afraid
with the last pick of like every BBM I've done the last like 5.
my Kyron, Jordan Mason, Josh Kelly teams are like, and Gus's are all high fiving each other. Like, welcome to the round 18s.
No, close your ears, but my Keontae Ingram ones are there too.
Oh God. Gross. I hope that doesn't get there. I'm sorry. I can't. I'll lose to anything else. I'll lose to like Elijah Mitchell or like Ty Chandler and all those. But I just if I lose to Keontae Ingram, I'll be super annoyed. I'm gonna be like absolutely annoyed. I'll be livid.
Oof. Projectable volume might actually be Robert Woods here over Richie James. I feel like instead of the Kansas City, Houston paid him. It's gonna double up bye weeks there anyway. I think Robert Woods makes sense in this.
He's 1 year past his ACL tear. Like you can do all the narratives.
Paid him. Yeah, 2nd year off an ACL.
He could be a rookie quarterback's blanket play.
Yeah. No, that's Dalton Schultz. That's reserved for his tight end. Come on. Yeah. That's the security blanket. All the tropes. Getting them in here at the end of the show.
Oh, crap. Anyways, draft is almost complete. Where are we at?
Yeah. 2 more picks. I'll go ahead and talk through my team, my theory on it. So pretty typical for this when we want to not, miss out. 3-5-7-3, I think is the best build in this format. Took Josh Allen, so he got an elite quarterback in the 3rd round. So backing him up with Stafford and Mac, I think feels right as far as like spend on the position, even in this format when you want to reach a little bit more to lock in QB. All different bye weeks. My running backs, again, all on different bye weeks as well. Took Breece Hall in this, Kenneth Walker as well. Like 2 guys I don't think are the best for this format, honestly, because of their timeshares. But then I really hammered out like 3 more picks, strong picks at running back to finish off this team. But yeah, all bye weeks different, which I think is good in this format. Cooper Kupp, Calvin Ridley at the top. Really betting on them as high volume guys in their offenses. Feel great about that for Kupp as long as he's healthy and the Rams are competent. But we know even last year, what's the stat that's going around? They were like 29th in offense, and Kupp was still the wide receiver 1 through 9 weeks. So I feel great about that. Took Gabe Davis in this. I don't think he's the best pick in this format either because he's more of a spike weeks guy. But I do want to stack with the final being like 186 people. I think that's still important. Pittman, hopefully he's Anthony Richardson's number 1 target, getting a lot of targets in that offense. Lazard, Jacoby Myers, Robert Woods, hoping just guys that are, target earners each week in their offenses. Lazard feels a lot better now. Unfortunately, that Corey Davis has retired, so Lazard should see a bump. And then tight end, I'm pretty okay with punting it in this format as well, but all different buys. So feels like a pretty common build for me in this format. I like it a lot.
I just think how funny this team is how correlated it is for week 17. Like your quarterbacks are correlated, your stacks are there. Like This is a week 17 team. Like, have I ever seen one?
I
It's
mean,
like
it's what Buffalo,
you
New
even have
England.
you even have Vegas versus Indy. You even have Vegas versus Indy Hope. Like
It's
this is
only two teams.
ridiculously week 17.
There's
I
only
should
two
have just
teams
give you
that.
Darius Slayton. You could have just taken Darius Slayton against your Cooper Cup. You might as well have gone for it. You might as well have gone all the way.
I mean, I think it still helps. Like, this isn't that small of a field. Like,
No, this is not a bad thing. It's just like this is as the most week 17 I think I've seen for Eliminator in a little while.
all right, let's
Usually they're
read.
hodgepodges, but this is like actually correlated. So I
All
got
right.
3 guys, whatever. This is cool. No, I got like Goff unstacked, Tannehill, Santos pseudo stack, Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett stacked with my Jalen Warren and my Deontay Johnson. I did it, guys. I'm a big boy. RBs are Bijan, Tony Pollard, Zach Charbonnet, Jalen Warren, Kyron Williams, all separate bye weeks. I'm really bye week bro on this, man.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense.
I
All my
stacked
running backs had different buys as well.
all different buys. I do think, like I said before, if you catch the beginning of the show, positional bye week is like a serious thing. I think wide receiver you can get by obviously because we take so many. But if you have only 3 players and like in your positions, and they can suck at any given time. Keenan Allen unstacked, Drake London with unstacked, but with Bijan, Deontay Johnson stacked, Chris Godwin. At least that's correlated. Cortland versus Keenan Allen. I did try to take Ross. He got taken ahead of me. Alec Pierce and then Darius Lane. This is just gonna try to get me by. And then Dallas Goddard, Chig, and then my 2 week 7 tight ends. Hopefully Goddard can hold up to his elite tight end availability. And if I had to pick my poison there, I would rather pick it for week 7 than stack in my week 10s and being stuck with Chig.
And
So
it's
I didn't.
tied in too. So like worst cases, you're not giving up as much points as like if it was quarterback.
Other than that, I think that this team is like fine. I think I could have wished I got my correlations down a little bit better. Just didn't line up at all.
I still don't think it's as important, you know, like you're gonna advance a lot of weeks without having stacks. It's literally just the final week.
Yeah.
I think you want. I mean, obviously, like having it, you know, can like ensure you're a top 3 out of 6 if you get, you know, Josh Allen 40, Gabe Davis 30, one random week, but you know, you're a lock at that point. But I don't know.
I considered taking Thomas over Sutton there, but I was like, yeah, either way, it's a correlated. But I didn't want the double bye weeks, so it works out. I think my team is pretty fine.
I think it's good.
Wish my quarterbacks were
better. I don't know. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, Drew, 2 weeks away. Finally, it's a long summer. A lot of drafts. A lot of staring at an app and at a computer, but we're here. Finally get to watch real football. So I'm excited.
Before we go, we should do this. We should do this better. Like and subscribe. Join us if you've liked us this whole year. Join us during the season. We'll be doing in-season content still. Liking, sharing, taking your 5 YouTube accounts you have, just like them all up. Send it to a friend. It really does help us. It's nice to see people in the chat. Thanks for joining us for it. Hope, any last words?
No, yeah, really appreciate you guys hanging out. We'll be back next week. May have a late night stream this weekend. We will see about that. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out, and this is a fun format. Hopefully we'll see. Maybe they'll still have something open like this next week. Probably going to do one of the episodes will be my 150th BBM. We're got 5 more to do. We're down the last 5. So one of those next week will be my 150th. I'll make sure that happens. And so I'm excited. Hopefully Jonathan Taylor's situation will be over by then so I can plan out my last 5 for that. But we'll see. All right.
Awesome.
Peace.